Welcome to Deep Dive by the Quiet Footnote. Today we're plunging into a really thought-provoking book, Oliver Burkeman's The Antidote, Happiness for People Who Can't Stand Positive Thinking.
Yeah. It's definitely one that makes you stop and think. Challenges a lot of the usual stuff.
Exactly. So our mission for this deep dive is to explore this radically different take on happiness and self-help. We're really going to challenge a fundamental assumption. What if chasing happiness actually makes us, less happy? And what if the real answers lie not in avoiding the things we dread, but maybe in courageously embracing them?
Right. Leaning into the discomfort.
Prepare for a refreshing, maybe sometimes unsettling, but I think ultimately liberating exploration of what it means to live well in a pretty chaotic world. Let's unpack this.
Okay, where do we start?
So let's jump right into the core problem Burkeman tackles head on. He looks at our world today, and it's just absolutely saturated with positive thinking.
Oh, completely. It's everywhere.
Affirmations, vision boards, apps, those mugs telling us good vibes only.
Yeah, you can't escape it.
Yet, despite all this relentless optimism, so many people are still feeling anxious, unfulfilled, profoundly dissatisfied. Burkeman poses this sharp, simple question. Is our obsessive pursuit of happiness actually making us less happy? He presents this incredibly counterintuitive premise. The more you chase after happiness, certainty, and control, the more they just seem to, slip through your fingers.
And what's fascinating here is that Burkeman doesn't just point out the problem. He proposes a, pretty radical solution. He calls it the negative path.
The negative path.
Okay. Yeah, it's basically an invitation to embrace the very things we typically try to avoid. Things like uncertainty, failure, insecurity, even the stark reality of death.
Wow. Yeah.
And to see them not as foes to conquer, but as unexpected allies. It's not about, just being contrary for the sake of it. He's genuinely sort of tossing out the entire traditional self-help recipe book that tells us to only focus on the good stuff.
Right. Forget the good vibes only mantra for a second.
Exactly. He travels through ancient philosophies, drawing these profound insights from Stoicism, delving into Buddhist wisdom, exploring Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now.
Which is all about presence, right? Letting go of that mental chatter.
Precisely. Radical presence. And he even confronts the concept of memento mori, that ancient practice of remembering death.
Heavy stuff.
It is, but he's hunting for wisdom that fundamentally doesn't rely on relentless optimism. So instead of the typical self-help mantra, you can do it, Burkeman invites you to consider something much more challenging yet maybe liberating. You probably won't, and that's okay.
Wow. You probably won't, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That hits differently.
It's a truly profound shift in perspective, isn't it?
And what a shift. It really makes you wonder, if that's the path, if embracing discomfort is the way, then what are the common myths about happiness and self-improvement that Burkeman really takes a sledgehammer to?
Yeah.
Because it sounds like he's telling us that positive thinking isn't always the answer, and maybe, just maybe, it might actually be part of the problem sometimes.
Yeah. That raises a really important question because he definitely comes armed with a myth-busting approach. He takes on the very pillars of mainstream self-help. The first big one he targets is positive thinking always works.
The classic.
Right. Burkeman debunks this by showing that trying to force positivity can actually backfire. It can lead to more anxiety, a feeling of inadequacy when reality doesn't match up. As he puts it, kind of wryly, the world isn't obliged to bend to your mood board.
I like that. It's a powerful reminder, isn't it? Our internal state doesn't just dictate external reality.
Not at all. Then there's the pervasive idea that you can control your feelings through willpower.
Oh, like you could just decide to be happy.
Exactly. And he argues feelings are more like weather, not widgets. They're transient, often unpredictable. Trying to suppress anxiety, sadness, or fear usually just makes them louder, stronger, more persistent in the long run.
Like pushing a beach ball underwater?
Yeah. Precisely. The real path, he suggests, is acceptance, not this strenuous, exhausting control. Another huge one he tackles is the myth that happiness is the goal of life.
Isn't it, though? Or isn't that what we're told?
Well, Burkeman argues that chasing happiness directly, like it's a destination you have to reach, makes it a mirage. It's always just out of reach. He says real happiness often sneaks up on you as a byproduct of living honestly, even messily.
A byproduct. I like that. Not the objective itself.
Exactly. It's an outcome, not something to aim for directly.
That distinction feels incredibly liberating. It changes the whole frame. What else does he challenge?
Well, he also challenges the notion that you can and should eliminate all negativity.
Right, that negative emotions are somehow bad or wrong.
Yeah, Berkman's perspective is that negative emotions aren't bugs in the system, they're essential features. Trying to banish them just gives them more power, like feeding a shadow.
Okay.
Instead, we need to learn to maybe dance with them, acknowledge their presence, understand what they might be trying to tell us.
So listen to them instead of shutting them down.
Exactly. And finally, the myth that failure is shameful and should be avoided, he completely turns this on its head.
Which is huge in our culture.
Absolutely. He emphasizes that failure is not only inevitable, it's essential. It's where you actually learn, grow, and, surprise, become a more interesting human. It's the raw material for genuine self-discovery. As Burkeman essentially concludes this section, you don't have to chase happiness like it's a butterfly. Sometimes the best way to find it is just to sit quietly in the shade and let the world show up, rain and all.
That's a beautiful image. It suggests a more, receptive way of engaging with life. Less striving.
More allowing.
So if we're not chasing happiness like a butterfly, if we're embracing these negative aspects, what concrete practices does Burkeman suggest we actually embrace to live this negative path?
Right, because it's not just theory.
He must explore some truly ancient, maybe even surprising techniques.
He absolutely does. He really dives into actionable insights from various philosophies, offering these practical, often counterintuitive approaches. One key concept is the backwards law, which is rooted in the philosopher Alan Watts' work. It suggests that desiring a positive experience is itself a negative experience.
Okay, unpack that a bit.
It's the paradox that the more you try to force something, the more it eludes you. Think about trying to fall asleep, the harder you try.
The more awake you feel. Yeah.
Exactly. So the practical application here is maybe setting process goals, not just outcome goals. Focus on what you can do today, the journey itself, rather than fixating only on what you must achieve by some future date.
Focus on the steps, not just the summit.
Precisely. Then there's negative visualization from Stoicism. It's known as premeditatio malorum.
Sounds ominous.
It does. But it isn't about being morbid or just dwelling on the worst. It's about imagining worst-case scenarios specifically to appreciate what you have and to soften the fear of loss.
How does that work in practice?
Well, you might imagine losing your job or your health or even a loved one. The purpose isn't to invite tragedy, obviously, but to deeply appreciate your present circumstances and reduce the fear of future adversity. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca famously said, something like, he robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand.
So it builds resilience and gratitude.
Exactly. Profound resilience and genuine gratitude.
It's almost like a mental vaccine against potential future upsets. That's actually quite clever. What else does he explore?
Well, from Buddhism and mindfulness, he emphasizes embracing uncertainty.
Which feels very relevant right now.
Incredibly. A core tenet of Buddhist thought is that suffering often comes from clinging to certainty, from our desire for things to be predictable and our aversion to anything uncomfortable. He quotes something like, the attempt to avoid certain thoughts or feelings is itself a form of suffering.
Resisting reality.
Right. So the practice here is mindfulness meditation. Just noticing thoughts and feelings without judgment, learning to sit with discomfort rather than fighting it or trying to escape it, being present with whatever comes up.
Okay, just observing.
Yeah. He also brings in memento mori, the practice of confronting mortality.
Back to death yet.
Back to death. But again, it isn't meant to be depressing or fatalistic. Remembering death is framed as a call to live fully, not in fear.
How so?
It brings this incredible clarity and depth to life, apparently. It nudges you to savor what truly matters, to act with more urgency and intention. You could say, keep a small reminder of mortality, a photo, a phrase, maybe even a little skull on your desk if you're bold, just to serve as that nudge to live more fully now.
A reminder to not waste time.
Exactly. And then there are the incredibly liberating shame-attacking exercises. These are inspired by Albert Ellis, a pioneer in cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT.
Shame attacking, that sounds intense.
It does. The idea is to face your fears head-on to shrink them, specifically the fear of embarrassment or social judgment. Burkeman suggests to cure the fear of embarrassment, practice being embarrassing.
Oh, wow. Like what?
Well, the practice might involve doing something deliberately silly or awkward in public, like asking a shopkeeper for something that you know doesn't exist, or wearing mismatched socks, very obvious.
Okay, that sounds mortifying.
It does, but it's about consciously inviting that discomfort to realize it's not catastrophic. You can survive it. It's about embracing embarrassment as just part of being, gloriously, messily human.
Okay, I can see the logic, even if it makes me cringe just thinking about it, but also incredibly effective, potentially. What about something less public, or is the public aspect key?
I think the public aspect is often key for that specific exercise, pushing that boundary of social fear. But then there's a final, maybe more subtle, but equally seismic idea, the freedom of being ordinary.
The freedom of being ordinary. I like the sound of that.
Doesn't it feel like a relief? In a world constantly pushing us to be exceptional, to optimize everything, to stand out, Burkeman offers this profound permission. You're allowed to be ordinary, to have bad days, to flounder, to be just okay.
Wow.
It's a radical acceptance of self, free from the constant exhausting need for self-improvement and external validation. It's like a quiet rebellion against the pressure to perform happiness.
That concept of being just okay feels incredibly refreshing and necessary, really, in today's world, which leads me to wonder, why does this book, which was published years ago, feel even more urgent and relevant right now?
That's a great question.
How has this message kind of deepened over time, especially with all the challenges we face today?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, Burkeman's ideas have actually become surprisingly prophetic, haven't they? Consider the tyranny of toxic positivity today.
Absolutely. It's everywhere.
Right. The pressure to be positive has only intensified. You see it in curated social feeds, that smile through your burnout corporate culture.
Just be grateful. Manifest your desires, even when things are genuinely hard.
Exactly. Burkeman's book offers crucial medicine for a soul on the edge, really, by inviting us to just drop the mask and be honest about how we truly feel, allowing for the full spectrum of human emotion.
It gives permission to not be okay.
Precisely. Then there's the age of uncertainty. I mean, where do you start? Global pandemics, climate chaos, geopolitical instability, economic roller coasters.
Yeah, the ground feels constantly shifting.
It does. The only thing certain is that certainty is gone. Our craving for predictability just clashes violently with reality. Burkeman's embrace of leaning into uncertainty rather than fighting it or pretending it doesn't exist was incredibly prescient. We desperately need practical tools to live with ambiguity and adapt to constant change, and his negative path kind of provides that framework.
It seems like that mindset of letting go of control is especially critical now. Does this connect to technological shifts as well, like AI?
Absolutely. I think so. In the age of AI, where jobs, knowledge work, even the nature of intelligence are constantly shifting, Burkeman's insights feel profoundly relevant. He might encourage us to drop the optimize everything mindset that just pervades the tech world.
Interesting. How so?
Well, instead of aiming to be future-proof, which is, let's face it, a new impossible task, maybe we should strive to be adaptable enough, accepting our imperfect, evolving selves and skills. It's about letting go of that intense desire for complete control over our careers and identities, and instead embracing the continuous learning and, frankly, unlearning that AI demands.
Adapting rather than controlling. Makes sense.
And the anxiety and mental health epidemic is another critical area where this book just shines. Rates of anxiety and depression are, well, through the roof.
Sadly, yes.
And many proposed solutions still sound like more positive thinking or quick fixes. The Antidote offers this powerful alternative to just numbing or escaping difficult emotions. It basically says, face your demons, make friends with them, invite them to tea, and see what wisdom they offer.
Invite them to tea. I like that image.
Me too. It's about acknowledging, processing, and integrating these difficult emotions rather than just suppressing them, which feels like a far more sustainable path to mental well-being.
Yeah, integration, not elimination.
Exactly. Lastly, the allure of control through technology is just immense, isn't it? We can micromanage everything from our calories to our calendars, our sleep to our productivity.
We certainly try.
We try, but Burkeman reminds us that control is largely a mirage. The harder we grip, the more anxious we tend to become. His Stoic and Buddhist wisdom essentially says, let go, be present, ride the river, don't try to dam it. So Burkeman's message today really doubles down on his original invitation. Let go of control. Accept the mess. Be fully, honestly alive, even when, maybe especially when, the world feels like it's on fire.
It's clear that this book offers a really profound way to navigate our increasingly complex world. So, okay, pulling all of this together, what does this all mean for us? What are, say, the 5 essential principles Berkman truly wants us to internalize from the Antidote?
Right, distilling it down. From all of Berkman's insights, I think 5 core principles really emerge. First, the pursuit of happiness often backfires. Chasing it like a finish line makes it elusive. Instead, accept the full spectrum of emotion, and genuine contentment often sneaks up as a byproduct of just living honestly.
Okay, number 1, stop chasing.
Number 2, embrace uncertainty and discomfort. Life's greatest joys and deepest learning often come from dancing with the unknown, not from barricading yourself against it.
Lean into the wobble. Got it.
3, negative emotions are not failures, but features. Fear, doubt, sadness. They aren't glitches to be fixed, they're vital guides, essential parts of being human.
Yeah, they're data, not defects.
Nice. 4, let go of control. You never really had it. Security is largely an illusion. Trying to guarantee outcomes tightens anxiety's grip. True freedom and peace come from surrendering to life's inherent unpredictability.
So loosen the grip.
And 5, accept, even celebrate, imperfection and failure. Being ordinary, making mistakes, feeling lost. These aren't disqualifications from happiness. They're the very terrain of growth. Failure is the raw material we learn and evolve from.
Failure is fertilizer.
Okay.
If I had to summarize the book in one sharp sentence, it might be this. The Antidote is a gentle rebellion against the cult of positivity, inviting us to stop running from life's shadows and discover that true contentment begins the moment we let them walk beside us.
That's a powerful summary. And, listening to all of this, there's this quiet reassurance that really resonated with me personally, like an unheard message woven through the book.
What's that?
It's the idea that fundamentally you're not broken for feeling lost, afraid, or unfinished. In fact, that's precisely where your deepest aliveness lives.
Yes, that feeling of it's okay.
Exactly. It's like a whisper that says, stop striving so hard to be anything other than human. The mess, the shadow, the uncertainty, this isn't a flaw. It's the price and maybe the privilege of being alive.
That's beautifully put. It feels like it tells you, you are enough. Even, maybe especially, on the days you feel like too much, or not nearly enough. You don't need to fix yourself before you're allowed to belong, to rest, to create, to love.
That's incredibly freeing.
And it reframes our challenges entirely, doesn't it? Your anxiety isn't just a bug. It's maybe a compass pointing towards what needs your attention. Your sadness isn't a flaw. It's an invitation to feel deeply. Your failures aren't dead ends. They're simply new doors opening, waiting for you to step through.
Seeing them as invitations or doorways, that changes everything.
So for anyone out there who's maybe side-eyed affirmations or felt a bit suffocated by mandatory gratitude journals, this book really is like a sigh of relief.
Yeah, I can see that.
It invites you to lean further into who you already are, awkward, unfinished, wonderfully human. The real antidote maybe isn't happiness itself, but the quiet knowing that you don't have to chase it. You're already home, even when lights flicker. You're already worthy, even in the rain.
That's a powerful place to land. So perhaps as you reflect on this deep dive, you could consider which of these ideas resonates most with you right now. Maybe take one small, intentional step to befriend your discomfort in your daily life, whether that's just sitting with an uncomfortable emotion for a moment longer than usual, or intentionally embracing a small moment of uncertainty instead of trying to control it. Just see what wisdom it might offer.
The small experiment in letting go.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Oliver Burkeman's The Antidote. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep being wonderfully, messily human.